Hello friends. Some species migrate far from their natural habitats and begin changing their landing spots. Sometimes just a slip on a slope is enough to remind them that they aren't entirely in control as they seem. Here are 25 real-life moments that show gravity silently leveling everything. Raccoons' mischievousness always comes with a price, as their habit of exploiting gaps in homes is seen as stealthy intrusion. While they can fall from heights of 10 to 12 feet without injury, each fall represents a fierce test of nature. Do they realize that each risky endeavor is a testament to their ability to survive in a harsh, wild world? Falling from unsafe transport vehicles or migrating back to their natural habitat presents significant challenges for animals. Each migration is a major journey as city streets become narrow and difficult to navigate. Ducks, despite being excellent swimmers, can still be submerged if they don't follow the laws of nature. Young, weak ducklings, unfamiliar with these obstacles, are especially vulnerable in this struggle for survival. In the damp forests of New England, invasive moose plunge into deep lakes, sliding down large pits due to the unfamiliar terrain. Lacking food in their native territory, they venture out in search of it, turning human lands into traps and a reminder that population explosion is pushing them into a dangerous spiral. The savanna region is always full of pitfalls and traps where only intelligent invasive species that obey nature can survive. Such sudden falls make us wonder if they can survive. How will nature punish them? Miles per hour, outpacing even wild ducks. Have you ever wondered, in the wild, what would happen if eagles couldn't win their hunts? Furthermore, these artificial fences continue to pose a significant obstacle for deer when they venture into new territories. They struggle to overcome them, often slipping and falling due to panic in unfamiliar terrain. Authorities should implement invasive species-friendly fences and construct migration corridors to ensure the safety of both people and deer. These moose, despite being raised by humans, have lost their ability to survive due to prolonged lack of contact with nature. Sliding down waterfalls or navigating the chaos in the snow serves as a reminder that they need to return to their natural environment. Monkeys can jump distances of 30 to 50 feet, but such scenes are extremely harsh for young monkeys. They are at a vulnerable age and have to endure falls from tree branches. At first glance, many people might think it's just their playful antics or that the mother monkey didn't hold on tight enough. But if you watch the whole thing, you'll understand that it's a test of nature that they are forced to face. Sudden falls from cliffs are a constant nightmare for invasive species. Camels, cattle, and other creatures can all be swallowed up by the sheer steepness of nature. Humans need to realize that respecting nature and protecting ecosystems is not only a responsibility but also a matter of our own survival. Having watched this far, what are your thoughts on the devastating effects of nature? Is there any way to prevent them? What can we do to protect the environment and mitigate these risks? Only authorised utility workers are allowed to remove bird nests from high voltage power lines, following strict safety procedures. Unauthorised personnel are strictly prohibited. How about the idea of installing insulators and bird deterrents to reduce the risk of electrocution, protect large birds, and prevent forest fires? Unlike electric fences that cause physical shock, mirrors cause psychological shock to bears. When they suddenly see their own reflection, they become startled and fearful. Areas that regularly face bear intrusions may use mirrors as a deterrent. Some people think that electric fences are only built to guide and protect horses on farms. However, when watching this video, others see something different. A sudden 120 volt shock may not cause physical harm, but it can cause lasting mental shock. Polar bears are a protected species, but in their search for food, they sometimes encounter electric fences, even in zoos, which are supposed to be safe. When fences are placed near water sources, installers have to reconsider the risks. I think it might be worth switching to a double fence with a shallow moat. Many blame poor management for the monkeys destroying power lines, but the truth is more complicated. Monkeys have a natural climbing instinct, and they cause power outages for millions of people, and local people are fighting back by building barriers and moving. But this is still not a cure-all. Can you ignore electrical abnormalities? This is a serious accident caused by an electrical leak, emphasizing an important fact that when abnormal current is not immediately cut off, it can lead to equipment overheating or a catastrophic explosion. Electrofishing has surged in Virginia, bound tightly by law to those holding a valid commercial license. But beneath the statute lies a haunting scene. Fish jolted into paralysis, drifting powerless in their own waters. We are crossing a moral line. On farms, pigs quickly learn to respect electric fences, making pasture rotation easier for farmers. However, one pig was so shocked that he never tried it again. Should the use of electricity in livestock management be considered practical or cruel? What is your view? Does electricity affect a hen's egg laying? Many wonder about this.
Oh.
The truth is, electric fences don't stop hens from producing eggs. Their laying remains natural and unaffected. I never thought I would wake up to a cow knocking on my door. Not just one, but a whole herd of them, spilling out onto the street due to a broken barn. They may seem like just farmed cows, but who can say for sure that there won't be an accident or something bad happen? The security issue needs to be addressed immediately. What would you do if you woke up in the morning and saw a moose with antlers over 6 feet wide? I certainly wouldn't want to greet you that way. Where I live, they've destroyed many luxury cars, and my advice is never to approach a moose during mating season. They're terrifying. Komodo dragons, the giant lizards famous in the Komodo Islands, have suddenly appeared in people's yards. Locals believe they're attracted to the smell of food and garbage. But just one bite from this species can cause a person to fall into a state of rapid weakness, along with the risk of unpredictable infection. Behind the Komodo dragon's fear, venomous snakes pose a more subtle threat.
Oh God, there's a snake in the house! Ah!
Why do they often seek out homes with small children, especially during the rainy season when they leave their burrows to find dry places? And do mothers know of simple ways, such as keeping their yards tidy or planting lemongrass to keep these creatures away? A little known fact is that in the villages on the edge of the African jungle, people have to face leopards almost every day. When the predator approaches, the only way to protect yourself is to stay calm, not turn and run, avoid direct eye contact, and slowly back away to safety. In Lopburi, Thailand, the number of wild monkeys has increased to more than 6,000. Not only do they occupy residential areas, they also attack passers-by to steal food. In 2020 alone, when tourism froze due to the pandemic, these invasion caused an estimated loss of more than 1.5 billion USD to the Thai tourism industry. Close-up footage from the camera shows a giant crocodile nearly 15 feet long slithering into the city after the rainy season. At first, everyone thought it was lost, but it was actually looking for food in water and residential areas. Remember to stay away and immediately report to the Wildlife Control Force to handle it. The clashes are not over yet. In Aspen, many stores have been ransacked by black bears. They leave behind rubble, streets are in disarray, and bear-proof trash cans have not deterred the bears. Rumours have circulated that humans, with their urban sprawl and leftover food, are drawing bears closer. Or as some say, is it just the wild animal's instinct to survive? Californians are used to seeing policewomen carrying tranquilized mountain lions. They are not scary unless people yell, chase them, or try to get too close to them. More importantly, people need to stop encroaching on forests and leaving behind leftover food, as these actions attract these predators. The slow pace of rhinoceros often makes people think it's harmless, but a single strike can knock a person off their feet, so keep your distance. What no one expects. This giant can charge from over 100 feet away at incredible speeds, turning a seemingly peaceful moment into an unexpected threat. In the heart of Texas, where the skyline is wide open, a tense hunt between hunters and wild hogs is underway. A helicopter hovers overhead, its rotor blades beating steadily. Below, a thermal camera spots a herd of giant wild hogs, 300-pound beasts, charging through the fields. You're witnessing the biggest hunt in Texas, so keep your eyes on the screen. From the helicopter, a hunter aims an AR-15, taking down hogs with precision. Why hunt by helicopter? Wild boars are not as easy to catch as they used to be. These wild boars are smart, they are ruthless. They can destroy a field in a matter of hours. And we don't have time to wait. I've tried everything, said one seasoned hunter. At the same time, a helicopter gives you an aerial view, the speed to chase the wild boars, and the chance to take out the herd before they disperse and disappear. Meanwhile, the AR-15 is the weapon of choice for wild boar hunting there, because it is light, accurate, and stable, even when the helicopter is shaking. In 2023, Texas reported more than 2.5 million feral hogs, causing $2.5 billion, 0 cents in damage to agriculture annually. Helicopters have become an important tool in keeping up with the devastation. Not all hunters can afford to rent a helicopter to hunt feral hogs. So that's where bow hunters come in, hiding under large trees and using decoys to time their shots. Hunters can hunt close to home and farm using bows and arrows. Bow hunting has the advantage of being invisible, making no noise that could catch feral hogs off guard. Bow hunting is growing in popularity with more than 10,000 licensed bow hunters in Texas by 2024, many of whom hunt feral hogs to protect local farms. Wild boar hunting is not an easy task. The authorities require hunters to have skills and thorough preparation. They learn how to control the plane, calculate the wind and speed, and most importantly, practice the ability to shoot accurately in difficult conditions while moving. As for bow hunters, the training process can last longer, usually from 3 to 6 months, to practice the ability to hunt accurately, especially when the target moves quickly, like wild boar. How much time will you spend practicing before participating in a hunt like this? But why go through all this effort? The answer lies in the damage these hogs cause. In Texas, nighttime footage shows them tearing up cornfields, destroying fences, and destroying water tanks. They often attack in large packs. They cost Texas farmers millions of dollars a year, and no one is paying for it. I lost my pumpkin patch one night, one frustrated farmer shared. Feral hogs destroy 10 to 20% of Texas's crops each year, and livestock attacks have increased by 15% since 2020. Hunters in Texas have the freedom to fight back, but not without rules. You can hunt more freely here than anywhere else, but freedom doesn't mean chaos. Helicopters require a license. Pilots require certification. Paperwork, safety checks, and legal briefings are required before wild boar hunting. Bow hunters have more freedom on private land, but one mistake can land them in court. Wild hog hunting in Texas can be a great learning experience. Comment below what you think of this video and let us know if you have any tips. Have you ever imagined standing in the middle of a vast field at 2 a.m, rifle in hand, your heart pounding with every rustle in the dark? In Texas's Central Valley, the region that supplies nearly 25% of America's agricultural output, that's not a scene from a movie. It's the reality every single night for hundreds of farmers. While you and I sleep, they're out there tracking a silent enemy. They're a team of 4 armed with .308 Winchester rifles, thermal scopes and GPS radios for wild boar hunting. There are no lights, just the crunch of boots on dry ground and the distant rustle of wild boars moving through the fields in the dark. They are not trained hunters, they are farmers. But every night they become warriors because they have no choice but to go wild boar hunting. Now let me ask you, what would you do if picking up a rifle was the only way to protect your land, your livelihood, and your family's future? Try to put yourself in their shoes. If you've never seen a cornfield destroyed overnight, you probably won't understand why people chase down wild hogs like they're the enemy. Wild hogs aren't just animals wandering the woods, they eat everything from grains to roots, and even attack young livestock. A fully grown one can weigh up to 300 pounds and cause thousands of dollars in damage if it destroys a crop. But that's not all. They wreak havoc on ecosystems, spread diseases like leptocirrhosis, and the worst part, they attack people. A charge from a boar is equivalent to a motorcycle hitting you at 40 miles per hour. Over 100 human attacks are reported each year in Texas. You might think that if the problem were that serious, everyone would be allowed to carry guns and go hunting, but it's not that simple. Texas law allows unlimited wild hog hunting year-round. But hunters must have a license. Fees range from $25, 0 cents for residents, to over $300, 0 cents for out-of-state hunters. Hunting near residential areas is prohibited. Shooting wild hogs on public roads is prohibited. And any nighttime wild hog hunting must be reported to the Fish and Wildlife Service. Texas is notorious for its strict regulations, and when it comes to hunting, the law is the first line of defense to keep people and hunters safe. Do you agree with these stricter regulations, or do you think they should be loosened so people can protect themselves? Taking down more than 100,000 wild hogs a year might seem like a huge success, but it's not. They reproduce so quickly that within a few months their numbers will explode again. What's the long-term solution? Reduce wild food sources, install electric fences around farms, work with conservation groups to monitor and map populations. Most importantly, change the mindset, because this is no longer a farmer's job, but a statewide, industry-wide campaign. What do you think? Should hunting be more regulated or expanded to support farmers? Tag a friend who needs to know about this fight. And if you've ever lived in a rural area, share your story. Subscribe for hands-on, emotional, and authentic journeys into rural America. Why is coyote hunting such a big issue? It's not just about the damage. Every year they attack about 400,000 livestock. In Texas alone, their numbers have surpassed statistical limits. They are invasive survivors thriving in deserts, suburbs, and even the outskirts of cities. Texas dominates the scene with private ranch lands and a ridiculously high coyote population. However, this area isn't the best for coyote hunting due to the dense urbanization and strict local hunting regulations that limit access to certain lands. In contrast to Texas, Arizona's Santa Rita Mountains are now one of the hottest hunting spots, while Colorado's dense terrain makes it more difficult for hunters to navigate. So they've switched from traditional tracking tactics to using animal distress calls. Typically, before facing such challenging areas, hunters start in open grasslands, where coyotes are easy to track due to clear visibility. However, once in the woods, hunters have to change tactics, using distress devices to attract coyotes, which are not as effective in open fields. Comment 1 if you've heard of this tool. Comment 0 if you haven't. In Colorado, coyote hunting is regulated by the Colorado Parks and Wildlife (CPW) to ensure responsible management. Coyotes are classified as non-game animals, meaning you can hunt them year-round with no bag limit. However, you'll need a small game hunting license or a fur bearer license costing around $30 for residents and $80 for non-residents.
Whoop. Whoop.
Hunting is allowed on public lands like San Isabel National Forest without landowner permission, but private land requires explicit consent. Electronic calls are permitted, but baiting is illegal. Night hunting is allowed on private land with artificial lights, but not on public land. Violating these rules can lead to fines up to $1,000 or loss of hunting privileges. Always check CPW regulations before heading out to stay legal and protect Colorado's ecosystems. Coyotes are notoriously elusive with keen senses. In Colorado's rugged terrain, landing a hit often takes multiple shots. Based on distance, wind, and coyote movement, experienced hunters report an average of 3 to 5 shots before a clean knockdown. A single well-placed shot from a .22-23 rifle can drop a coyote instantly, but their erratic behavior makes this tricky.
Woo.
How many hunters does it take? Often just one skilled hunter can take down a coyote, especially with good optics. However, in open areas like Colorado's plains, 2 to 3 hunters working together using calls to lure and spotters to track can increase success rates by 30%. Groups are common when coyotes are near livestock, as teamwork covers more ground and reduces misses. Missing a shot in coyote hunting is common, but it can have serious consequences. A missed shot alerts the coyote, making it warier and harder to track. Coyotes learn quickly, avoiding calls or traps after a near miss, which can ruin a hunt. In Colorado, shooting near roads or homes can lead to legal penalties, especially in urban adjacent areas like Boulder County. If you miss, stay calm. Don't chase the coyote, it's likely gone. Reposition quietly, switch calls and try again later. If a coyote acts aggressively, extremely rare but possible near urban areas. Lower your weapon, back away slowly and avoid cornering it.